I love the story about how when we come down to earth, we agree to come down and live this life, and the lesson that we're here to learn is how to love. And the last thing that happens is an angel tells you what your mission is and tells you everything that's going to happen, and you agree to it. And then the last thing they do is they go, shh, and they place their finger right there on your lip, which is why all of us have that little, where the angel goes, shh, and then you go down to earth to live out your mission. I was always happiest when I was singing praises, when I was singing songs of gratitude, songs of loving the Creator who had created me. I was most alive at those moments. But then when the songs were finished and I had to meet people, I was always so afraid. Are you going to see who I am? Are you going to hate me? Are you going to tell me I'm not welcome here anymore? Then I went from singing gospel music to original music, cover tunes. I did it for a living, full time. I toured. I remember being on the road and the band was out partying, doing their thing. And I was in my hotel room. I had my Bible. And I was just like, I cannot keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. And so I took my Bible out, I started reading, and I just started crying. I literally begged God, either change me or kill me. I can't keep doing this. This went on for hours. In pure exhaustion, I just fell asleep. Face first in the Bible, zonked out on the floor, done. I wake up the next morning, I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, so sore, golly. That was not a comfortable place to sleep. And I go to the bathroom, I'm gonna, wash my face and clean up a little bit, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, and I've got the Word of God on my head where I'd cried and the ink had gotten wet and had dried on my forehead. I was like, okay, I've got the Word of God imprinted in my head, on my head. And I'm just as gay as I was when I begged it. I gave him very direct instructions. Kill me or change me. And he didn't do either. What he did was just loved me. It was a defining moment for me because I was like, wow, I'm not gonna change. This is who I am. All the prayers are not gonna change who I was created to be. While I was on tour, I kind of stepped away from church. I thought, this nonstop touring, this is wearing me out. This is just wearing my soul out. Town after town, I'm lonesome. I want to settle down a little bit. I need a break from this. So I did. So I came home, back to Atlanta, and I started going to church again. I started singing in the choir. They had a special audition choir that did special music, and it was really beautiful. And then one Sunday, all of that changed. I'm in the choir loft. I'm in my robe. The preacher's praying, and I feel a tap on my leg, and I'm like, that's weird, yes. And they motioned to me to look at the choir director. I'm like, me? And I look at the choir director, and he goes, okay, I guess I'm going outside. So I stand up from my chair and I'm trying to quietly go through all these people's legs. And what I noticed, the weirdest thing is I got up, they moved into where I'd been seated. So my chair was filled. And it was like I had never gotten up from the chair. So I go out from the choir loft and he's like, let's go out to the outside here. I want to talk to you. I was like, oh, okay. And there was this little area that was like a little garden outside the sanctuary. And I'm in my choir robe, he's in his little suit, and he says, somebody has mentioned to the pastor that you're gay. He said, are you a lesbian? And I said, I am. And he got very nervous. I remember him kind of, wringing his hands a little bit. He said, you can't be in the choir. You can't be in special music and be gay. We have to ask you to leave. Okay. Will you please hang your choir robe up in the choir room when you leave? Okay, sure. And he flipped around on his feet and he was gone. And I remember standing outside and the trees were blowing and the birds were singing. And I remember the sun feeling warm on my face and on my skin. My hair was blowing a little bit. And it was just almost like this magic moment where there was pain and like my tears and feeling so pushed aside. There was like this embrace from God himself, like, it's okay. So I turned around, I walk up the steps, and as I'm walking up the steps to the choir room to hang up my robe, the choir starts singing. And it was thunderous. I mean, it was a big choir, and it was like, just loud. And I remember how different that was from what I had just experienced, the quietness, the gentleness. And so I go upstairs, I take off my choir robe, I hang it on the hanger, and I stand there for just a moment in the silence, and I thought, I'm done. I'm done with religion. Not with God, but I am done with religion. When you pray things like, change me or kill me, what if you're really saying, change my heart so that I can love who you created and kill the doctrine and the lies or the deceitful things that I've been told that aren't truth. Change me so that I can see me how you see me and kill those things that aren't truth, that aren't helpful, that are actually death for me. Maybe he answered my prayer after all. It just wasn't what I thought I was praying for. For me, it wasn't my parents, it wasn't the church. All those things were tough, but it was me. It was me that was having trouble loving the gay me. That was me. And when I finally was like, wait a minute, this is exactly who I'm supposed to be. The thing that at the start of my life looked like, oh, that's gonna be a deal breaker for her. She could have had such a good life if she just hadn't been queer. God, that's actually the thing that birthed my gifts. It's the thing that made me kinder and gentler and more tender-hearted and more merciful and more graceful and more accepting and willing to listen to the story. I don't know that I would be that person if I hadn't been gay. Probably wouldn't have been. Why is it? Why is it that it just takes courage to be yourself? Why is that? Why does it take courage to just be who you are? From the time we take first breath, it's just parents and preachers and teachers and television and newsreels. And then you have to decide, wait, I'm gonna hit the pause button and I'm gonna go get quiet and I'm gonna go get out in nature and I'm gonna see what feels real, what resonates with my heart and with my soul. That's where truth resides. That's where it is. To really live a full life, right? To really live a full life, you must be a risk taker to some degree. Because the greater risk is not taking one. Because if all we do is just traverse this road and the stuff that our parents tell us to be, or our teachers, or the stuff that we've heard that we're supposed to be, the things that we're supposed to do, if you're not willing to listen to yourself and take that risk, then I do think that you miss something. Every moment, every breath, you are gifted with the ability to make that choice. Do I choose love or do I choose fear? Because the opposite of love isn't hate. It's fear-based. It's just fear raising its head. Fear can either catapult you into hatred and into being frozen, or fear can actually show you something that you probably should look at. Why am I afraid of this? And I don't know all the answers to that. I still ask that question. Why are we afraid to be gay? Well, and we know why a lot of it is because of how we're treated by culture. But I'm talking like a layer below that. Why are you afraid of being gay? If you could shut out those other voices, what does your voice say? That's what you need to listen to. Fear can create this space where love takes flight. Because if there's no fear, if there's no chaos, if there's no trials, if everything's just easy, skimming the surface, just sailing through life, you're never challenged to grow and learn and ask and be opened and be filled. You're just stuck in this place that's so monotone in its color and in its brushstroke and in its experience. Facing your fear, on the other side of fear is where the answers lie. Coming to terms with, this is who I am. And also shedding the skin of who I wasn't. There's a scene in the Bible where David's going to fight Goliath, right? David's like this shepherd boy. They're like, okay, you're gonna go fight Goliath. He's like their best guy. And they start putting a helmet on him and all this armor and stuff. And David goes to fight Goliath and he's like, I literally can't move right now. Like I literally, and he just starts taking all that stuff off because all he needed was to be himself and his slingshot and one stone, which in my heart is truth. That's all you need to slay the great giant is just truth. Speak your truth. The dark night of the soul for me was getting rid of all the armor, all the heavy stuff, all the weights, all the desires of other people that they wanted me to be. Just, that's not me. It's too heavy. I can't even move. I literally can't move in this stuff. So finally, when I was able to release that and realize that, hey, I'm a shepherd boy and all I need is truth. I literally felt freer. I literally physically felt lighter. I literally felt more at ease. I felt happier in my own company. I always say it's not becoming who you are, it's remembering who you are. We just got to get to truth. We've just got to get to love. We've just got to get to light. And that we would love God enough, to fight our way to truth. You will not take me away from God. You will not kick me out of my love for the Creator. You will not do that to me. And for God, Creator, Jesus, Source to say, I've loved you the whole time. The same God that I've loved since I was a little kid loved me back the whole time. But I had to fight for that. I had to fight for that truth. That did not come easily. And I'm glad I fought. Because at the end of the day, it was a healing. It was a healing. I was healed. I was able to learn to love myself and see myself through a God that created me to be exactly this. And what was the disease was misinformation. I was healed from the disease of misinformation, of untruth, of hurtful things. There's a lot of ways to try to change the world. Can you march? Yes. Can you hold up the sign? Yes. Can you be bold? Can you be in the parade? Absolutely. But I find the only thing that really changes a human heart ever is love. Love heals us. And love is love.